YouTube, what's going on? I want to send a big shout out to all my fellow old school DJs. Big up. But yeah, walk one. I know I feel load of you them star. No, but seriously, like a lot of old school DJs. I'm an old school DJ. You can see I've got a bit of age on me. A lot of old school DJs are dissing the new school DJs, putting up memes with Technics 1210 turntables and saying, if you don't know how to use one of these, you're not a real DJ. Or saying, if you need to use a sync button, you're not a real DJ. That's like a caveman coming from the past into the future, well, into the present time, and saying, oh, you're using a car, so you're not walking, you're not a real man because you have to use a car, you're not walking. Like, probably not the best example, but you get my drift, right? So at the end of the day, the technology develops, right? It's a tool. Say a 16-year-old becomes a DJ right now and wants a DJ and starts using a controller that's got a sync button, it's got all the digital beat matching and all that. Use the ting. It's fine, use the ting. Like, I'm an old school DJ. I started off on vinyl. I was playing on vinyl for years and years and years. In fact, I was late to progress. When people were moving on to mixing on CDJs, I was still using, vinyl. And when people were moving on to digital, well, I'm talking about people in my crowded circle. I'm not sure what everyone else does around the world, but I was only moving on to CDs when people were moving on to using Serato controllers and all that, Serato box and adapters and all that. So I understand what it's like to be an old school DJ. I understand what it's like to mix. There's no beat match counting. You're on a turntable. You match the beat with your skill. I understand all that, but technology has developed. Right, the newer DJs come out, they ain't buying no Technics 1210s. In fact, Technics 1210s and 1200s or and them thing there are more expensive than they were back in the day. You'd think because it's kind of outdated-ish, you'd think the price. Why would a new school DJ buy that? Do you know what forced me to turn to CDs when I was in the vinyl days? Because I started to turn up to bookings and I started to turn up to certain clubs. And there was no CD, there was no turntables, there's no Technics 1210s. And luckily, because I was on radio, right, and I used to get sent certain tunes via MP3 and I used to put them on CD to play on radio, I already start having a CD collection. So I remember I turned up to a booking one time, there was no turntables in the club, and I just about managed to play a decent enough set because I had CDs, and luckily I was carrying them in my boot or whatever. But yeah, so I was kind of forced to turn digital. But anyway, let me get back to my point. The technology progresses. So remember, being a DJ is about entertaining the crowd. So if you're a club DJ, your aim is to please the crowd. So you want people dancing, having a good time, getting drunk, having fun. If you're on a radio, it's about your radio personality. Yes, it's about your selections of tunes as well. People driving on the road with a speaker up in their car, listening to you on radio, they're not switching over. That means you're doing the right thing. They're listening to a show. Yeah. If you're DJing at a wedding, again, a private party, a communion, people are happy, having fun, then you're doing something right. So it's not about, oh, because you're using this. I've never used a sync button. The one time or two times I've used the sync button is by accident. I was on radio, I accidentally pressed the sync button, and I was like, ooh, how can I get out of that? Because I'm not on them thing there, but seriously, like, allow the new school DJs, forget about the memes putting up Technics 1210s saying, if you don't know how to use one of these, you're not a real DJ. Forget about putting up the memes about, if you need to use a sync button, you're not a real DJ. Yes, we don't use it because we don't need it, but it's technology. You move with the times. Old school DJs, don't become a grumpy old man. You see how certain old people are grumpy? Don't become one of them and start bitching about them thing there. Allow the new school DJs to use the new technology. Remember, there was a time where, I remember when I grew up, I had TVs with no remote. Like, certain TVs never used to have a remote control. You just have to get up and press the button. Now you got the remote control, you just sit down and relax. You just sit down and relax, you get me? You just sit down and relax. And then press the button on the remote control. Right? Technology moves, things get easier. things get easier. Allow the new school DJs, let them flourish. As long as they've got skills to entertain the crowd, you know, it's all about the tune selection as well. If they're on radio, it's about radio personality. It's not about the technology they're using. Allow them to move with the times. If you can mix it, because I see all these memes about the sync button. Even before the sync button, you know, the controllers have got the beat match number thing and whatever. The CDJs have got, you know, the beat per minute count on them thing. They're so, you know, technology was slowly probably getting to the sync button anyway. So, you know what I'm saying this. So, and some DJs, like I know some DJs that are dissing the new school DJs, but they didn't even start on vinyl. They started on CDJs, yeah? And trust me, CDJs, it took me a bit of getting used to because I was on vinyl for so many years, but CDJs technically are easier to mix on. Now, like if you're a vinyl DJ, you get used to CDJs. They're easier to mix on. So, you know what I'm saying? Move with the technology, move with the times. I'd probably still be I'll probably still be playing vinyl and obviously things get easier. Like back in the day, we used to have to stand up in the record box, you know, listen to me, in a record shop for hours on a weekend, and you couldn't not go to the record shops. You couldn't leave a gap of like more than a week, otherwise you miss. Well, depending on what genre of music you're playing. Like back in the day, I was used to play a lot of garage, also played a lot of dancehall as well. They're kind of niche genres that, you know, certain underground tunes, if you miss it, you're not going to get it again. Who knew in the future there was going to be YouTube and, you know, you could digitally download old tunes on iTunes and people got all them illegal YouTube converters on them thing there. Who knew that was going to be that in the future? Man was standing up in a record shop making sure you don't miss certain tunes, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm kind of switching up a bit off subject. So any new school DJs that's listening to this, do your thing. Use the technology that you're using. Remember, it's all about entertaining the crowd, make a name for yourself. You got a lot more to worry about than what technical things you're using. Yeah, you got to please the crowd. And if you're trying to kind of make a name for yourself, like you're trying to actually become a big, you know, name brand DJ, it's all about marketing yourself as well. Obviously, it's kind of easier nowadays with social media to market yourself. But yeah, like don't worry about the technology you're using. If you know what I'm saying. You don't need to know how to use Technic 1210s, yeah? I love DJing on Technic 1210s, but it's not a thing anymore because clubs do not have that. Like, okay, sorry. Big, massive, like, proper nightclubs that has got like a big main room and they've got a second room and a third room. In the main room, they'll still have Technic 1210s or what? Well, yeah, Technics basically most the industry standard. You get me? Yeah, so they'll still have that, but I can't be turning up to venues with vinyl anymore because it's just, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, I'm beating that dead horse. I'm gone way over how long I wanted this video to be. So new school DJs, carry on doing your thing. Old school DJs, louder you them. Don't become a grumpy old man. Embrace the new technology, and you know it's all love. We're all DJs. We're all in it for the same thing. It's love, whether you're 16 or 60.